Okay, we're going to do a capacity test on a battery here. Typically, you won't do that, but we're going to show you this once, and then you'll get a chance to do it one time in the shop and maybe never again in your career. And so we'll start with the connections to our testing machine. In order to give it power, then we have what looks like these heavy-duty clamps, and we're going to clip them on. Again, gently, we're going to go on the positive first. And then we're going to make sure that we don't get a spark here and then go on the negative. Once we've completed that negative, we should have a display on here, and you can see the volts and the amps. Now, why is that? Well, that's because we're on external. If we go internal, we're measuring through these clamps. But if we want to use, and we can use these for voltage drop testing. Again, be gentle with these. Then we can use these for testing. And so we can conveniently clamp on somewhere like this and make sure you get a good connection. And then you can see that I've got the same thing, internal or external. And they're nice because they have long leads and you can go all over the engine and do voltage drop testing, which is what we really want you to be expert at, because that's really what's useful. Now, I'm going to load test this battery by putting a load on it. And so I'm going to look at this battery. And the book's pretty clear on this. This battery has a full cranking amps of 1125. And so theoretically, according to the book and everything you'll read, they say do 1/2 of that. 1/2 of 1125 is roughly 562.5. But I'm just going to go ahead and do 500. Just pick a nice round number. And so before I start, I want to make sure I've zeroed my amps. And so I've got to take care of that. I have to put my amp clamp on, and you got to measure the current. And so you got to look at your path. And so we're going to start with our positive, go through this machine and come back to our negative. Our load is right here. It's right here on top. It's a great big rheostat or potentiometer, whatever you want to call it. And so I'm going to hook this on, and you do have to turn this on. I'm going to go to the 1,000, and I'm going to hit auto zero first of all. And now it's zeroed, right? So you got to turn it on auto zero. When you're done, turn it off for the batteries go out, and then somebody has to take it apart and put batteries in. You go on either one. You can try to get the polarity right. It doesn't really matter. And so you just hang that on there. And right now there's no current. So I'm going to set this to 500 amps. I'm going to move on this side so you can see better. So I'm going to go to 500 amps right here. And you can see the load's on. I've got the polarity wrong. It doesn't matter. So there's 500. And I'm going to count 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010. Okay, 9.3. And this is smoking. It's really hot now. So I'm going to go with 9.3. Probably do 400 amps in shop. So let's do 400 and preserve this and not put so much stress on the battery. But I need to look at this and see minimum volts at my temperature. And so I should have had 9.6. Now, this probably wasn't fully charged because it was at 2.2 volts. And so you have to be charged up. And so it's been a while since it's been charged, right? Now I'm done with that. I want to take stuff off and put materials away. And so I'll take the amp clamp off and set it in here carefully. I'll take these connectors off. So you want to be gentle with this stuff. It's hard to get these pieces of equipment. So I'll wrap those on here on the back around the handle, trying to keep them clean and not overly tight. And then taking off my power, since I disconnect, always ground on last, ground off first. Then I lose power to here. Put them again, wrap them there. And so when you're done, got a nice clean bundle on the back and no problems.